Alright, what is up, guys? This is my second video for the daily grind. If you can tell by the title, this was a tilty low session. So I'm not going to go through it all. It was pretty long and kind of uneventful. We did manage to lose, I think, around 2 stacks. Our current bankroll is about $107 or $108. So still more than the last video, but it was up to about 117. 115 during the start of this video. So let's just get started. I'm just gonna record over my gameplay. And obviously raise ace queen under the gun. Sorry it took so long to get another video out. Thought about calling, but folded the 5-6. I was at home, not at school for a while, so I haven't been playing that much, and every session has just been pretty uneventful. So I decided to call it the ace 10, raise 9 queen on the button. Going to be raising any 2 cards on the button. So pretty good flop, although ace 10 can get you in a lot of trouble. But don't see any reason to fold just yet. And he checks. So right here, it's kind of, as much as it seems like a, snap bet, it's such a dry board that it really doesn't make sense what he could call me with. Only maybe a lower ace or a pocket pair that's not these, but he'd be more likely to have a set. Although I don't think a set would check there ever, unless he check raises. So I'm really only getting called by small pairs and lower aces, which is kind of a narrow range. So I don't mind actually checking back, because if we check back, one, if we're beat, we're beat. And 2, if he just has nothing, he will just fold. So if he has nothing, we check, we give him a chance to bluff on the river. So I decided to bet, and he calls. And now, you could say it's a scary card, and I did think about it, but how many 9s? I guess Jack 9, Ace 9 maybe, or I don't think he has a lot of 9s in his range. So I did decide to value bet, and this is kind of a tough spot to value bet, which I think a lot of people would have just checked it back, but I decided to value bet because I'm pretty sure I have the best hand, and I'm willing to bet 45 cents that I do. And over here we get ace jack, backdoor nut flush draw, 3 straight, so don't see any reason to fold just yet. Turn's pretty bad, and he had pots again, and I think if you just give up, I don't think that's a profitable play to call. Could have had the best hand, but pick up some pocket 8s. We'll raise jack 9. So not the worst of flops. We got a open-ended straight flush draw. Pretty good. Over there we flop air, so I think we'll just bet and shut down. Could raise. Yeah. I do raise, and let's break down why I would raise there. He is just, because it's hard for him to have us crushed. If he has a 10, he's probably calling. If he has a 9, he's probably calling. The only hands that were really in bad shape too is ace 10 with the ace of clubs, which is pretty unlikely. So we could have just checked, but I decided to check raise because if he has nothing, he'll just fold. And there's a lot of scary turn cards, anything higher than a 10. So I decided to check back, which I don't know if I like that check. I think I just didn't want to get checked raised. But we river, which is, obviously a good river. So we will be betting if he checks. I will wager 64 cents. And he snap calls. So when he snap calls, I'm not sure what he has. I didn't go back and check. Maybe a 10, 10 jack, 2 pair. But and over here, I check back this flop, which I don't think I like very much. We have, gut shot to the nuts. So it's not a spade. 2 overs. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't have bet there. I just figured, I guess maybe he has a lot of jacks in his range, which are never folding. A lot of tens in his range. He was in the big blind. So I check it back. But now we're in a weird spot because we kind of have to call a bet. So I call. And then there's a 3. And this is... So then right here he bets 74 cents. What would he bet 74 cents with here? If I had ace high, I'm pretty sure I would have called. Because I don't think you're betting over pot with a 10 here, or an 8 or a 9 at all. You're betting with full houses and flushes only. And both of those are hard to make. So, or I guess a straight maybe would bet jack queen, but I doubt it. I mean, they'd bet, but to overbet pot on such a scary board. I contemplated calling, but I decided to fold. I think it's a little too ambitious. Although I think I might have had the best hand. So king queen, pretty strong hand. Don't want to see it 3-way to the pot, but I guess we will. And right here, this is a good hand to talk about. This had to lead, or not lead, I just had to bet. I could check, but since I 3-bet, I think it makes a lot more sense to bet here. Although they're never folding an ace, even if it's a low ace. So at this point, I'm prepared to turn my king into, or a queen into a bluff. I mean, we do have a gut shot as if needed, so that was kind of some extra security. And he bets, and we just shut down over there. And then I decided, at this point, I bet, and I think I'm almost bluffing with my hand at this point, which I know sounds kind of weird, but because what is he really? I'm trying to get him to fold ace, low aces only, because I don't. What else could he be calling with? And then he just calls again, and if he had more money, I would have went with the hand and just tried to represent ace queen, ace king, jack king maybe. But he only has 35 cents left, and I'm honestly priced in to call a shove. And he checks, and we win. So I have no idea what he was calling with. Jack 10 with the gut shot. Worst queen, I guess. I don't know. Didn't expect to win that hand, but we did take it down. We'll fold the 4-6. Probably raise if it folds to me. Pocket 8s again. Going to be raising. Because I most likely have the best hand. Oh yeah, this is a pretty sick spot. Okay, so I bet large because what else? Because there's no good turn cards really for pocket 8s here. I mean, other than an 8, obviously, non-heart ace, but 8. I really would just rather take it down because, I mean, do we get better hands to fold? No, never. But do we get ace highs to fold? Yes, who can bluff us off later streets because we'll probably have to check back on a queen. So I wanted to bet large and just try to take it down because there's so many scary turn cards. Any heart, and then this guy just goes psycho and shoves. So there's $6 in the pot, essentially. And I'm going to have to call for, yeah, pretty much all of it. So 468, I'm not really getting, I'm not getting the best price. And the only hands, and you might be thinking, it's kind of, I guess it's not a snap call, but it probably is a call. I just don't, because if he had nines, tens, jacks are better. He'd probably re-raise, maybe not nines, probably tens. But he just cold called. And if he has aces, I don't think he shoves here either. Aces, kings, queens, that doesn't make sense for a shove. Doesn't make sense for sets the shove either. The only hand I came to the conclusion that he would do this with is sixes, or maybe fours, I guess would be a hand you would shove here. Or, which is a lot more likely, is king, jack of hearts, or 10 jack of hearts, or, any combo. And against those hands, he's actually statistical favorite with 2 overcards in the flush draw. And that, with the fact that I'm really only crushing sixes and sevens, those are not enough hands to. I mean, I don't think he gets crazy with ace, jack with no heart. I mean, maybe the one heart, but there's just it was close, but I decided to fold because even if he had king queen of hearts, he's actually a favorite. So I'm not beating enough hands to where, I'm at best flipping. So I decided to fold, which could have gone either way, but I think that's a fairly standard laydown. So we got some good spots earlier on that I want to talk about, but the session just goes very downhill. That's why it's called Tilt. But I don't think I'm going to commentate over all of it. I think I'm just going to talk about how bad I am and then upload it. But so far, so good. Queen Jack will open. 259 board, probably should have led. He checks back, and I check again. And then an ace. So, and we have the same hand. So probably should have bet on any street there. Probably should have bet turn. And continued on the ace or any good bluffing card. I don't know why my mouse is going crazy. He limps and I decided to punish him for it. And we get a pretty great flop. Decided to lead, pretty big lead. I don't know if I would have, I like the sizing necessarily. Then he calls. Oh yeah, over here then. This guy just open shoves and this guy flat calls. So I'm putting him on queens, kings, maybe jacks or tens, but probably queens. Threes. Okay, not threes. And this guy ace king. So probably. Oh wait, I missed what happened over here. I think I bet twice and he folds. Yeah, he folds to our second bet. I thought that was good. I was gonna give him the old 3 barrels. So I've had ace jack a lot so far. Open jack 9 off, pretty loose, but people fold fairly often, so can't be that bad. We'll probably be raising ace jack, yep. And don't know what he does. He checks. I don't improve at all. So I check back, and he checks. And he checks pretty fast, so I thought he had check fold on, which he did. So that was pretty good for me. Good enough price to set mine over here. And we're just done with the hand. Some hands I don't raise on the button, like 8-5 off. I just don't think it's just a little too weak to open. Any suited card I'll almost open just because it gives you more flexibility to add pressure with draws. Ace-9 hearts is a raise. I guess we'll see a flop with the queen deuce. When I get called twice, I'm not really loving my hand anymore. But I can't just fold yet. And then we turn to blank. And then he auto checks. Which, okay, so when he checks back turn so much, I'm putting him on a king or low ace. But I don't think this is a bad spot to check back. Although, maybe diamonds. It's not impossible to get called by worse. I don't have to have an ace necessarily to be betting here. I could have any miss diamonds. I don't think a king bets here, so 2 pair maybe, but I think, and he has ace jack. So I was kind of mad I bet there, but if I had bet, he was betting, and I would have had to call, so it didn't really matter either way. Queen 6 on both tables. Not going to play either of them. Pick up some sweet pocket kings. And there is an argument for cold calling here, but I just hate getting stacked because I slow played. So I'm going to raise. And I decide to pot it, which I think looks just too strong. I mean, if you're going to pot into 2 players who raised and called, at worst I have ace king there. Flopped the most top of pairs, but not the top kicker. So can't fold, not loving the fact that 2 of them called. We'll be checking back. We can check fold after this. I don't like that ace. And I like my hand. But this hand just made me sick. This is what started the tilt. And it was all downhill from here. So, since he was first to act, and then he leads fairly strong into 2 players, I was putting him on exactly an ace, and only an ace, because that's really all that would do this. A set would never play it that way. And ace jack, but probably not. I have on the jack, so I block that. And he doesn't have a lot behind, so I was betting I had the best hand. So I decided to raise, all in for both of them. And we get snapped with the nuts. So, my question is, how did he get here? I guess he bet so small on flop, and with 2 overs, I guess it's not atrocious to call for 15 cents. And I'm almost kicking myself. I can't bet an ace though. I mean, I could have, but we just have to river the worst card that gives us 2 pair and him the nuts. So I was a little mad at that, mad at myself, but I don't think I could have really played it any differently. And I decided to reload. So let me know what you think. Should I have semi-bluffed turn on the ace? Because he probably folds there. I can't see him calling with a gut shot. That'd be pretty crazy. But not impossible. We just get lucky. And this guy leads into me. And I'm just mad. Oh, I fold. I thought I just raised a lot. I would have liked to raise there. Pretty good looking hand over there. King, jack. He'll fold. So, I'm getting not sick of Zoom poker just yet, but I am. I mean, since I play fairly a lot live at 1-2, 2 cents, 5 cents is getting a little old. And might move up to 5-10. I just don't like. I don't really have the best bankroll for it. And even after this session, I said to myself, I'm glad that I'm actually playing correctly now with bankroll management, where I can afford to lose a few stacks and, not want to throw my computer out the window. Like when I used to play with a $500 bankroll and be, 3 or 4 tabling with 1, 2, or 50-cent dollar and have, 3 or 4 stacks I can lose, and then that's my whole bankroll. So I do like the, risk-free. And we make a loose call, but I didn't go in there without a plan because I was still a little steamed about the last hand. And he bets large, and I just decided to say, nope. Oh, and he snap calls. I give him the old 2 barrels. And he folds. Which is good because I was ready to give him all 3 barrels. I don't know if anything really happens for a while after this. I might just end the video, but like I was saying earlier, I am getting a little sick of 2 cents, 5 cents, so I don't know if I want to go back to that sit and goes. I'll probably film one heads up sit and go next and play a few of them. I think this ace queen hand is interesting if they don't just all fold. Yeah, this is a good hand. So, good flat for us. I like my sizing there. And right here, obviously a great turn chart for us. I guess I like larger. I don't know what he's really calling us with, but I do decide to bet 50 cents, and he snap calls. And then we river the nuts. Yep, the nuts. So I do like to overbet, but when you don't really overbet bluff, it kind of narrows your range. But I guess I like calling small because if he's a queen, which the way he's played it, that's most likely what he does, he will not be calling a big bet. So I kind of like betting like 50 cents again because I think he's going to call 50 cents like 100% of the time. I don't know if he'd call off that big of a bet. So I might upload some heads up sit and goes next, try to get back into those. I guess at $5 sit and goes, I do have 20 buy-ins, so I can't afford to play a few of those. I don't know if I've lost my game. I haven't really played them in a while. That's usually what I used to always just play. Pretty sweet flop. And we bet. And we get snap called. And we bet again. And he calls. Bet pouch, a little too big. I think he had a flush draw. And it doesn't really make sense what else he would call me with there. So session's not looking like it's too bad, but it does get worse and worse. Maybe I'll skip. nothing over here. Oops, paused. Open ender, pretty confident in betting. I think I should just continue with my story though, and then bet Terran and bet river. And he does bet, and I decide to call, and we chop it up. Which isn't the worst thing that could happen, but I think there's far more ways I could have won the hand there than as played. Pocket threes. Oh, there is a hand. Oh, I think this is it. No, it's not. There is a hand that starts the tilt. Flat called ace nine. Don't hate it, but don't love it. Wouldn't mind to raise. And I got second pair, so I call. Bet's pretty big. And I fold. I think I would have liked to raise on the flop and seen where I was at. And this guy just pumps it up. I don't know why I'm snap calling with Queen Jack. It's just, I don't think that's a profitable play. Excuse me. Two good hands. He raises, so I will be ready to go to war with him. Obviously just jamming. He's got $1. Goes with king, queen, so in a good spot over there. And over here, we have two options. Well, I guess three. But I actually did not see myself calling. I think we should be raising or folding because there's just so many bad turn cards and that we're basically just going to fold on. So we're basically just giving him 40 cents. And will he fold worse if we, or better if we raise? I doubt it. I don't think he's folding any pocket pair higher than the board. Does he fold king queen? Most likely, which is great for us. So I would much rather us raise here than just flat call, because then a 10 comes and he checks. And then we just make the biggest donk call of our life. Which, see, we end up losing a pretty big pot in comparison to what we're playing. Because we didn't raise flop. If we raise flop, 10 jack just folds. And now and right here we should just fold. We shouldn't be calling because we're literally beating nothing other than complete bluffs. And he just, he got there. And that's why we should have raised flop. Or folded flop, either or. I wouldn't have hated folding either. So I think I'm going to try to top off. That steamed me up a little bit. Pocket jacks. I don't remember if anything interesting happens here. We get 2 callers and oh yeah, this is what also started it. So when he does this little min raise, I mean, it looks like ace 10 because he just wants protection from scary turn cards. And he just cold called the pre-flop bet. So it's just, it looks like ace 10 or jack 10 or a 10. I can't really put him on queens, kings, or aces, so I just decided to say if you got a 10, let's run him. And of course, he's got kings. And we're drawing to 2 outs. So, we lose our whole stack there. He almost deserves it for cold calling, because I can't put him on kings, queens, or aces. Maybe a set, but I guess a set would do that. But I just don't know how I can fold. If I knew the player, if this wasn't just Zoom poker, maybe I can get away from it if I knew he was tight or aggressive or super aggro, but I just think, I don't know if it's a winning play in the long run to call there. I guess more often than not. How many tens? I mean, yeah. Maybe it's a fold. I guess I could have made it $2, but then I'm like priced into call, so. So that sucked, but what are you gonna do? That's why it's good to play with proper bankroll management, because if I was playing $200 buy-in, I would have been a lot more mad. I can afford to lose a few $5 buy-ins. Then we did just get lucky over here. If no clubs comes, we're probably losing more money, and I'm just ready to fold. 9 high is not the nuts. Don't think you'd fold unless we went bet, bet, bet. Not the worst of flops. I got shot in 2 overs. Cannot fold for 5 cents. Now I'm ready to fold. Ace, queen, or king, pretty sweet. I am ready to go to war, if anyone. Pretty good flop. And they fold. I would have got there. We'll probably end it soon. I just know there's one hand coming up that pretty much sent this session downhill. Ace jack. Not the worst of flops. Check it back, which I don't think I like. I think I like betting there. And we call. Oh wait, we got something going on over here. So I flopped an open ender, back door, flush draw, so no need to fold. And then I think it went bet, check, and then I just decided to lead because I don't see anyone else necessarily betting right here with a 7 or 8. So I decided to leave, even though I guess my hand's pretty good. I'm losing to only two perfect cards to make a straight. And they both call, which kind of made me scared, but then I guess I both had them beat. Could have 3-bet ace jack there. Because I think we're way more inclined to win on boards like this. And probably should have bet. Pretty good flop for the tens. Bet, wait, oh wait. Oh, this is the hand, it's over here. Okay, so he calls a huge bet, which I don't understand. And then I bet just huge again, which I don't understand it either. And over here we flop top 2 pairs. No, this can't be the hand. And then he leads. So this is the hand that made me bet. I'm sorry. It is over here. This is weird. So we bet flop. He calls. Oh, hold on. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Excuse me. And then we bet turn, and he calls. And then he leads river. And I think this is just a fold. Because what is he honestly playing this way? You float twice the bluff, I do call, and he did have, I guess, a gut shot to the nuts. So I guess I bet small enough where he could call, but kind of a really tough call. I thought something was a little fishy. Ace 10, gladly to pump it up. Jack 10 off, kind of loose, but plays well post flop. Going to happily bet on this board. And he calls, and I'm a little scared, but I decide to bet again rather than check and fold, because you can't win if he doesn't fold. Well, I guess you can if you have the best hand, but. And he folds. And then another queen comes, so it makes me. It's highly unlikely he had a queen. I 3-bet queen jack because it's kind of weak, but suited has a lot of potentials to a semi bluff, and I can always just take it down. And that is a good flop. I guess we could break this hand down. So obviously we have a great flop, and I don't mind leading over here because I am going to lead. It looks a little strong to check here. I don't even think if I had an ace, if I had ace jack with no spade, I think I'd bet for protection and see where I'm at. So I don't know if I like my check. I think it's more believable if I lead into him, because then he'll probably continue with the king of spades or any ace. And let's see what happens. He bets small, really small. So I raise it up. And then I just don't understand what I'm doing. I'm going to check flop, but lead turn. I don't know what kind of story I'm trying to tell with that. and he folds. So I don't like any of that at all. And this guy raised on the button, and I get top pair. And I don't think he has too many eights in his range. And if he has an overpair and re-raises, I'm just gonna throw it away. But I do like raising to take it down. I like that play. So we are getting that stack back. 3 deuces a fold. Definitely playing king queen. Happy to raise it up. See, again, what am I doing? I guess it doesn't make too much sense to check. I mean, I guess it makes some sense to check. I'm really only calling called by better kings and high hearts, which I'm only beating high hearts. And then we just hit. And then he snap calls. I don't know what he's calling with here. He's high, maybe. I bet into like 3 people and they all fold, which is good because if I got raised, I probably would just thrown up in my mouth and folded. 7 king is a fold. Ace 4 is probably an open. Yep. Where is that hand? I don't think we passed it. Oh, this is... Yeah, I'm not loving this at all. Any part of this hand. This might... Oh, I think this is it. This is where it all started to crumble. So we'll break this down so we can talk about how bad I am. On this board, exactly. And to call with, I think it was 4-way to the flop. And I led. I don't think I would never have called with, unless I was maybe in the big blind, I got a good price with ace 4. But now I have to call because I opened an ace. And he bets again. And right here, I should just fold and just be done with it 100% of the time. And I decided, I think my reasoning was, he's only betting an ace, and I have an ace, so it makes it more unlikely that he has an ace. He could have sets, he could have any, he could have 5s and 8s. I don't think he has jacks, but 5s and 8s make sense. And I just say, here you go, take my 55 cents, and I check it back, and he bets pretty big. And what would any player do in this spot? Just fold, right? Because it makes total sense. You are not beating anything. He's never betting a jack here. He's never betting kings, queens, tens. He's betting good aces and sets only. So what do? I call, obviously. Why wouldn't I? Of course. Ace jack. So I hate that call. I hate everything about that hand. I don't like how I played it at all. Which is why I guess you don't open ace 4 of spades. So that was just a donk move we just gave away. We lost a $5 pot, which was completely unnecessary. We had 15 cents invested. We should have just folded. Probably flop. No, I guess we'll call it flop full turn. But I guess you can't learn. Pretty actually a good flop for us because as the pre-flop aggressors, we are a lot more likely to have an ace than them. And I just don't learn my lesson, right? I raise big with ace five of spades after I just lost a big pot with an ace four. If only that six was a four. And he bets huge, and I'm not going to chase a good shot. Yes, I do believe that this is the hand. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this hand, but over here, I guess seven's raised standard. And we lead into him because we have top two. Um, Either way, I was going to check raise, and then he raises. And at the time, I was kind of licking my chops because I was certain I had the best hand. I have top two. How bad could it be? But looking back now, is he really raising king 10? Maybe. And folding to a shove? Maybe. I don't give him sets of 10s or 7s because I have a 10 and a 7. I think it's more likely for him to have 8, 9 here. But I guess no matter what he has, I can always suck out with a 10 or a 7. So, and then I checked over here. I don't know why I checked. I think I should bet. I bet turn, which is good. And then I raise big, and he shoves. Which is kind of sick, but and $2 to win 736. Am I right? 1 in 3 times? Yeah, probably am. So I have to just call. And we get set over top 2 pair. Need a 10 or a 7. Nope. And we were at $10 stack, down to losing money. So could we avoided that hand? I don't think so. Like I said earlier, it's Zoom poker. It's hard to get away from hands like that when you don't know your opponents and haven't played with them. You have no sample. So there's about 7 minutes left, and I think it's pretty uneventful. I think I just donk off maybe some more money. Let's see what we end with. Yeah, see, we went down. So I think we made a slight comeback and ended up about $104, $105 in the account. So, not the worst of things that can happen. But I'm just going to wrap the video up and end it here. Next video I'll probably do some heads up set and goes, maybe a tournament or something. Change it up, get a little tired Zoom poker, but don't really have the bankroll to play 10ML. But I hope you enjoy this video and can learn something from my donk plays. So until next time, peace.